All right, so what's up? My name is Leo Myron, and in this video, I want to kind of like walk you through what I do on a normal day-to-day basis as someone who is not jacked off in the last 9 months after having done it fucking 2.5 years straight, multiple times a week. So I've made some progress, and in this video, I want to kind of like walk you through what I do to sort of give you some tips and hopefully help you out on the journey and explain why I do what I do from a NoFap perspective and what things I think are the most effective to basically stop touching your willy. So yeah, let's get into it. Yep, so I usually do daily videos. I will basically recap yesterday, but I haven't made a video in 3 days, and so I'll recap the past 3 days. So it's Tuesday for me right now, and I'll start with Saturday. So basically, last Saturday, it was a normal Saturday for me. I woke up at 5 a.m., and 5 a.m. is my wake up time because I want to have a lot of time before I go to, for example, school or before I have to talk to other people. Just like a few hours in the morning where I can remain undisturbed and I can actually hammer away and focus on the stuff that I actually want to do in life instead of, for example, having to go to school. Sure, I don't go to school on Saturdays, but you get my point. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day for that reason. I want to have a couple hours when I'm the most well-rested, because you can probably imagine that in the morning, you'll be the most well-rested. At least I feel like that. I feel way more well-rested in the morning than, for example, in the afternoon after I come home from school or after I've done a bunch of stuff during the day. I've eaten a bunch of food, that kind of stuff. So I really like waking up early for that reason. Yeah, so I'll just wake up, hit the alarm, like the alarm button to stop the alarm. Then I'll usually just sit on my bed for like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes and just kind of process reality. Because usually, right now, I'm usually a bit tired, a bit groggy when I wake up. It's actually not that I'm super like hyped to get through the day when I've woken up. Maybe I just need to sleep more or get more consistent on my sleep routine, probably. But I do also think a big reason for this is that I eat quite late. Like my dinner is at like 7 p.m. It finishes at 7 p.m. roughly. And so I've heard like a lot of science suggesting that when you eat quite late, you are generally going to in some way interfere with your body's natural processes that usually take place during sleep. Because digestion and digesting food in the gut is generally a very energy consuming process. And in general, you don't really want to be eating that close to your bedtime. But for me, it's the best thing I could do right now, I think, for my schedule. Because I finish school maybe at like 3:30 or something like that. I'll come home at, call it 4:30, and I want to eat before I go to the gym, which I do from like maybe about 5 to 6 p.m., 4:30 to 6:30, around ish to that point. And I want to eat before and I want to eat after. But I also want to wake up early, so I got to go to sleep early. So it's kind of like that. But it's what I'm doing right now, and I'm willing to pay the price for that. So I usually sit and just kind of like stare at my wall like this and just kind of process reality for a second before I'm good to go. And then I will go into the bathroom and I will hop into the cold shower. So I take a cold shower basically every single morning, and I have done that for a long time now. I think I took my cold shower back in like maybe fall of 2022. And it was when I had gotten into this kind of like disciplined arc, Andrew Tate had popped off and David Goggins had popped off. And I was watching those guys a lot. Hamza Ahmed a little bit later on. And I realized that doing hard stuff might actually be a good thing. Because before that, I just been raised to be a bit of a soft boy, I didn't really engage in discomfort that much. But I realized at the time that when we go through pain, we get better, we grow. Growth is painful, and so we got to get used to it. And also, there are a bunch of like scientific sort of and anecdotal benefits to doing cold showers. So basically, the main reason that I do cold showers is that I really like having a victory that I collect early in the day, and it also energizes me a lot. So maybe like one psychological and one sort of biological reason, you could say, because when you do hop into the cold shower for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, which is usually the time that I'm in there for, your dopamine levels, which is like a molecule in your brain, like dopamine is a molecule in your brain, which is when produced, you feel very motivated and very driven and very sort of energetic to pursue your goals. And so, for example, it might be when you are coming home from school, you're on the bus, and you have this really fucking big desire within you to just jack off and watch porn when you come home. You might have that, for example. When you start fantasizing about that, when you feel the motivation, when you feel the craving, the desire build up in you, that is when the dopamine is going to be firing at all cylinders in your blood and your brain. So basically, when you are hopping in the cold shower, you are spiking your dopamine levels. When you get out, of course, when you are inside, you really don't want to stay inside because you're not motivated to stay inside because it's difficult, it's painful, right? But when you get out, your body produces tons and tons of basically motivation molecules like dopamine. And so what happens is that you get a spike afterwards, but instead of just having a spike in dopamine like you would get from watching porn, for example, because when you do that shit, when you jack off, when you watch porn, you get a fuck ton of dopamine in the beginning, but then when you finish, when you reach fucking the post-nut clarity, what do you think happens? It goes way down below the baseline, because the peak that you get in dopamine, like specifically when you get it from something that you don't have had to like expend effort in order to acquire, it generally tends to drop down really deep below the original baseline. And so you generally feel way more fucking like shitty after you've jacked off than you did before, which is really interesting because you are tempted to do this thing and it feels like you should get a reward for doing it, which you do. But then after the drug wears off, after you stop like getting the fucking stimulation on your PP, you feel a lot worse. At least I've done when I did that shit, you know? And so also with like cocaine, for example, people that take cocaine, their dopamine levels go way up. Like I think the thing is, I think with cocaine it's 2.5x's. With sex and like porn and masturbation, it's generally about 2x's in terms of your dopamine levels. But the thing with cold showers is that it also about 2.5x's after you get out. But what happens is that you don't just experience this massive like fucking drop, this trough in dopamine, you know? You don't just go to the peak really quickly and then drop down below the baseline really quickly and feel shitty. It's basically the opposite. It's that you get a spike, but then it is also sustained for quite a substantial period of time, for about 4 to 6 hours usually. And then, of course, it goes down to baseline a little bit. But like, in general, taking a cold shower for me in the morning has been an absolute game changer, because when I do it, I'm generally way more energetic than when I'm not doing it. And it's very interesting. I actually did not have a cold shower this morning. I don't know if my performance on this video is any worse. Maybe it is, but yeah, either way, I feel a little bit less energetic. Maybe it's because I slept in a little bit, because I wanted to get as much sleep as this is a side note, but I'm having my driving test today, and I wanted to get as much sleep as I possibly could before that. So I just kind of I didn't wake up at 5 today. I woke up at like 6. Woke up at 6:30. Because I also don't have any school or anything like that, so it's a little bit different. But and also just I didn't have my fucking usual cold shower. I'm not really sure why I didn't have that one. But yeah, either way, when I have a cold shower in the morning, I'm generally way more energetic and sort of driven and locked in and focused for the rest of the day than if I don't. So I really like that benefit. And then it's also just nice to sort of prove to yourself that you can, you know, do something really difficult in the morning straight after waking up. You go from the comfort of being in your bed, like in the cozy little fucking warm nest that you have, to this fucking like Spartan activity, you know? It just feels good, and I like that. So then afterwards, after I've been in after after I've been in there for about 30 to 60 seconds, I go out, I brush my teeth, and then I should add that before I hop in the cold shower, I take off my sleepwear, like my retainers for my teeth, and my like my mouth tape, which I have on my lips, to sort of shut my mouth during sleep, because I want to be breathing from my nose, which I do, of course, when I'm awake, because there are a lot of health benefits to breathing from your nose. Generally, you tend to develop a much like more angular face, and a lot of people that breathe from their mouths a lot, they tend to have like a recessed jaw, which is not really desirable, at least for me. And I think you'd agree with that. And then also just the air quality that you get, or the quality of the air that you breathe in from your nose, is generally going to be higher than the air that you breathe in from your mouth, because there's a lot of like, there's more processes and more filters in like your sinuses and your nose, like in here, than in your mouth. So in general, you want to be breathing from your nose. At least I do. And that's why I wear the mouth tape during sleep, because I can't control it, of course, consciously when when I'm asleep. I can't control my breathing. So I just do that, and there's nothing like, there's no fucking, you're not gonna suffocate or anything like that. Like if I really wanted to, I could still like like get that shit off, you know, get the mouth tape off. So yeah, it's like just using my breath, so it's all good. And then I also take off my eye mask, of course, but yeah, that's some basic stuff. But then after my cold shower, I brush my teeth, and then I go back into my room and I get my clothes on. I usually just wear some sort of hoodie and some sweatpants, and that'll be it. Obviously, I'm wearing like fucking underpants and socks, but come on. But yeah, then I'll make my bed. And the reason that I make my bed is that I just like having it look good. I don't like having like a messy room or anything like that. I like having it organized. And, you know, I don't think that it will directly impact my goals. I don't think that there's a magical stuff going on with making my bed like some people might believe. But I just like it when it looks good in my room, and it just takes like maybe a couple of minutes. It's all good, you know, and I'll do that. And then afterwards, I went out to the woods at like 5:30 or whatever, to like these woods to record the daily video. And I just sat down and I did the video, you know. I don't really have a script for these videos. I just kind of ramble off the cuff. And I just sat down, spat some game for the boys, turned on the little lightning thing on the camera because it's dark outside at like 5:30, 5:45, 6 a.m. here in Sweden during winter, you know. So yeah, I just did the video. I thought it was a great video. It was quite long, like 57 minutes or something like that. But yeah, I think I got quite a decent amount of good points in and stuff. So yeah, it was a good day, and or a good videos, I should say. But yeah, man, I did the video. I just spat some game, and when I was done, I saw on my phone that the time was like 6:54 or something like that a.m. And I had to run back home to my house because I basically take a call, like a daily accountability call with like a couple of guys that I'm doing accountability with in terms of NoFap, right? So I'll basically go over. So I have like a free school community. It's kind of like a Discord server on steroids, like much better, like much classier and so on. And there's like a free 3-hour course in there that I've made, and with like some tips and tricks for NoFap and stuff. And so I think we're 12 guys right now, like 11 guys plus me. From there, we're all doing like daily accountability calls, or I'm hosting them every single day, 3 times a day, so that anyone who's actually serious and committed on this journey can get some accountability. Because when I speak to people, like guys from my community and so on, that, you know, have some NoFap struggles and stuff, like they have 0 people in their life that they can talk to. Like nobody. This might be you, bro. You might not have anyone in your life that you can realistically talk to about NoFap, you know? Because people just see it as some sort of taboo topic. Most guys our age, at least, like if you're a bit younger like me, most guys my age, they don't fucking see anything wrong with it. They don't even realize the negative consequences of it. And they just goon all day, and they're complacent and happy doing that. So, but those are not the kind of people that I'm trying to help with these videos. I'm trying to help the kind of people that want to help themselves, if that makes sense. And so I have like a free community. And in there, like we're I think we're 90 members right now. But then I also have like a serious group of people that I do like free coaching with, free accountability. And yeah, if you want to join that, then you can just join the community below. It's completely for free, and we'll have a chat. I'll probably send you a message and see if you're a good fit. And basically, the reason that I want to do this free work, this free accountability, I want to help people for free in the beginning, because obviously a lot of people charge for coaching and stuff, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I for sure plan on doing that in the future, because I do think that when people pay money for stuff, especially coaching, especially when me as the coach have to get someone else to do something else, I think when you pay money, you're generally more likely to do those things that would get you the value of the thing that you paid for. So I do free work now in the beginning, and I plan on doing it for a little while, because I truly believe that basically the number one thing in business and in coaching and this info education sort of space, the number one thing is, are you actually a good coach? Like, do you actually know what you're talking about? Because I see tons and tons of guys trying to sell their little mini courses or whatever for like $50 or $100. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course not. But I just don't think a lot of guys have the credibility that, at least for me, would be appealing, would be enough to make a purchasing decision. So yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm actually a good coach and that I have proof that I can get people results before I charge money, because I would never want to charge money for something that I don't actually believe in. And right now, I don't have the proof, the third party, the objective proof, the evidence that I am a good coach, or at least as good of a coach as I think I should be before I start charging. And so I basically just want to get as much experience as I can, want to get as many good results for people as I can. And don't get me wrong, I do think that, like, it's not my opinion, like the guys that come into the community that we have, the group that we have, the group chat, and hop on the daily accountability calls, like, I think most of the guys, they were jacking off maybe like a couple of times a week on average before that. And now we've got, like, I think I've done it for about 1.5 months. And at this point, I think we have maybe like 5 out of the 11 guys that have jacked off once. And so basically from going from like maybe fucking, let's say 10 times a month per person to now like in maybe let's say 1 month on average, to doing it like 5 times across 5 different people. So once in like a month or once in a couple of weeks, So I do think that we have made great progress, like with all the guys. So I'm definitely proud of that. And so if you want to join the community and you want to get my personal accountability, like my personal help to basically get you to stop touching your fucking willy, then you can join the community below. It's for free. There's no pressure. And yeah, we'll have a chat. And yeah, you can join it in the description below. It's all good. So yeah, I have a call every single day at 7 a.m. my time, Central European time. And I don't have any, like, I ran out of fucking like 5G or like Wi-Fi connection like a few days ago. And so I didn't have like, because I do the calls on WhatsApp, and I need the fucking 5G to be on WhatsApp and actually connect to the call. But I didn't have that, so I basically ran home to be on to be on time for the call, because I don't like being late. Of course, it's not professional, at least, or especially as the guy who's hosting it, right? So I ran home. I think I arrived at maybe like 7:02 or something like that. So yeah, that was quite funny. And I just hopped on the call, spoke with the guys. It was really nice. I think, or it wasn't as nice as usual because one of the guys had relapsed, or to be fair, I don't like using that word because it sort of assumes that you lose all your progress because you do it once when you've resisted for long. But either way, one guy had jacked off for the first time since we had started working, and of course it was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I fucking laughed my ass at him, and it was a bit funny too. It's funny for me because if any of the guys do come on and tell me that they have jacked off, then I get to have a great laugh and I get to make fun of them. So it's all good, Of course, I want them to stop fapping, but yeah, it is what it is. And so I spoke to him, spoke to another guy, and yeah, it was cool. I think we had quite a long call, and we spoke about all sorts of different stuff. Yeah, because sometimes I just like staying on the call and spitting some more game to the boys and everything. So that's all good. Yeah. And after the call, I went back inside because I took the call outside of my house, because I can still have Wi-Fi connection outside of my house, and because of my dad was sleeping inside and I didn't want to wake up him and so on. So yeah, because I do sometimes like rant and shout and fucking laugh my ass off at these guys, So it's all good. And maybe you, if you want to join, because if you do come on the calls and you do jack off, you best believe me that I'm gonna fucking laugh at you, bro. And I'm gonna make you walk us all through the experience of doing it, like what you watched, like what kind of porn you watch, what you did with your hand to make it as painful as humanly possible. Because I think accountability is like the best thing in the world for NoFap. Because for me, at least, when I started on this journey, I did not, I jacked off like multiple times a week, as someone who did not even want to do it. Like I wanted to quit, but I was unsuccessful on NoFap for a long time. And I didn't tell anyone. And it was only when I actually told my best friends about my struggles that I'd kept hidden from them for a long time. When I just sat them down and told them like face to face and stuff, and I got their accountability, and I got the accountability of my YouTube audience, so you and the other guy watching this, because it was at that time, basically the same time that I made the first video, on my channel. And yeah, man, it's like, I just swore to myself that if I do this shit, bro, if I do it, I have to tell the YouTube audience, and I haven't done it. I haven't fucking done it, So I can feel good about that. And it really was accountability, like external accountability from other people, that helped me the most. Which, by the way, I define as behavior that increases the likelihood of self-compliance, which means that like accountability is, or at least as I see it, is things that you or other people do that make it more likely that you do what you said you would do. So if you say, I will stop jacking off, things that you do or someone else does that makes it more likely, that helps you to accomplish that, that is accountability. Accountability could be, for example, setting up a habit tracker on your wall, sticking up it on your wall, and just ticking the boxes and basically just reminding yourself like that. That could be one way. Another way could be meeting up with like a therapist. That could be a way to do it. I'm not a huge fan of that. I've never done it. Another way could be hopping on a call with the boys like I do with my boys, right? And they all have to say if they've jacked off that day and so on. And yeah, that's basically accountability as I see it. And I think the main reason that it works so well is that humans are biologically wired, like it's in our DNA, to seek social approval. And so if you relinquish that, if you don't get that from other people, you're gonna feel worse than if you do, right? Especially if it is from people that you respect on some level, that you wanna impress or that you wanna, seem good in front of. So it's like, I think accountability is so great, man. I think we're all isolated on this journey. I was for a long time, and I think most of the guys in the world are isolated. At least like basically all the people that I've spoken to have been isolated before they basically start working with me and joining my community. Because it's a bit of a taboo topic and people just don't want to talk about it. And I think that is a huge problem, where I know that it's a huge problem for a lot of people. Even guys that are on self-improvement, they are ambitious. They want to achieve great things in life. They want to make a lot of money. They want to get into great shape. They want to have amazing relationships. They want to explore the world, go out into nature, pop off on social media, these kinds of things. Even guys like that, that was me for a long time. Struggle with NoFap, struggle with not jacking off. It seems to be the final boss of bad habits. And yeah, man, nobody's talking about it. Or if people are talking about it, they're promoting it basically. Oh yeah, this fucking porn star, she was a show, huh? And they're basically promoting jacking off and watching pornography in school, saying that it's healthy and that it's reducing the likelihood of prostate cancer, all that shit, right? And Pornhub is the 9th most visited website in the world. I think it's getting last time I checked was maybe 6 months ago, but I don't, to be fair, it might have changed, but I don't think it has changed. It was a 4 billion monthly visits. Billion, not million, billion. Billion, bro. The entire fucking population. Maybe fucking hundreds of millions of people do it across the globe. Basically maybe 10 times a month. That would be the math of that, That could be quite realistic, I think, on average. It's fucking insane, man. And yeah, people are so deprived of intimacy and sex these days, and I think especially men are. And so I just, yeah, a lot of people go to porn for that shit and go to masturbation. It's really not the way, at least for the kind of people that I want to help and for the kind of guy that I am. So yeah, man. But yeah, so that's why I think accountability is so great. I think dopamine detox, like regulating your dopamine and getting away from overstimulating activities like watching porn and eating junk food and scrolling, these kinds of things that feel really, really pleasurable and you're super motivated to do them in the moment, but afterwards you feel kind of shitty. Those activities are generally going to be disadvantageous for resisting sexual urges. Because if you, basically addiction and the opposite of dopamine detox is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring you joy. And so the more you fuck up and overstimulate your dopamine receptors in your brain, the fewer things are going to bring you joy. And so you're going to be less likely to, in the moment when you feel the craving of doing the thing, actually be able to resist and kind of perceive the long-term benefit of not doing it. Because you might, for example, relate to if you jack off, afterwards you feel so fucking low on energy and that kind of stuff, and you might be way more likely to not be productive in your normal goals, and you might just fucking go on a fapathon. You might just jack off and then be like, well, I'm on day 0, I may as well, nothing else really matters, I don't really give a shit about that thing that I was going to work on, and then you do it again, and you go down this spiral, and it's a negatively reinforcing loop sort of, and it's not good, man. So I think dopamine detox and sort of raising your baseline level of dopamine, not the peaks that you get, but the baseline, because when you get a quick peak like this in dopamine, it generally tends to go down, and then you restabilize at a lower baseline because your brain and your body adapts, and it's called tolerance. And the thing that was overstimulating, the thing that was really exciting, now becomes normal, and the thing that was normal now becomes boring. The more you go through the cycle, the more that happens. At least that's been the case for me, and there's a lot of science backing that up as well. So, dopamine detox and accountability, I think, are the two biggest things that we can do for resisting sexual urges, and I think they're great, man. I think they are absolutely like fucking game changing. At least they have been for me. So yeah, man. Then after that, I read in Hard Times for Strong Men. It's a book on like masculinity and how to be a man, basically, and how to live in the modern world, how to navigate like all the struggles that men face these days. And I think it's a great book. There's a lot of like history involved and sort of geopolitics and that kind of stuff as well. Also some like normal behavior sort of or behavioral things that you can do as well to sort of increase the likelihood that you get what you want out of life as a man. So I read Hard Times Create Strong Men after the call. And then after that, I was going to have another call, but it was like rescheduled a little bit. But yeah, that was all good. And then at about 11, I went out with my dad in the car and I drove for about 2 hours. Just like, because I'm actually, I have my driving test today. And so we've been practicing a lot for that. And yeah, I just went out with him, patrolled the city, basically just drove around, practiced a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it was all good. I think I'm a good driver, and hopefully that'll show today. So yeah, wish me luck for that. And yeah, then I came back home at about 1, and I had the second call of the day at 1 p.m. my time. Same thing, just spoke to the guys. Have you jacked off today? Have you jacked off today? Okay, good. Have you had any urges? When did you have the urges? What did you do when you got the urges, and so on? Just checking up on everything. Then I had more food. Or not more food, I had my first meal of the day because I hadn't eaten anything before. I usually eat at about 12, but today I was out driving, so I had my first meal of the day a little bit afterwards. And then I read some more. I think I watched some podcasts and things like that. And then maybe I did some messaging, like some stuff with the community members, and booking some more calls and that kind of stuff, and messaging some people, like my online friends, if you want to call it that. Just like the accountability groups that I am in for YouTube, this kind of stuff. So yeah. And then I ate more. My pre-workout meal is usually at about 4 p.m. And I had a big meal. I can't remember what it was. It might have been chicken and rice. It might have been that. And then I went to the gym. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what it sounded like last Saturday. I'm pretty sure, because yesterday was shoulders. Then it must have been, I must have done like some shoulders. No, it must have been biceps, like some preacher curls and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that must have been it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I did some preacher curls and some RDLs and some leg extensions. Yeah, that'd be it. I think I only did that like nine sets last Saturday during my workout because I was a bit short on time. Me and my friend had also hung up a little bit before that, and I think I got to the gym a little bit later than I want to. But yeah, it was all good. I did that. I still train hard. I still, get fucking 80-90% of the gains which you get from the maybe 3 sets instead of 4. So yeah, it was all good, man. And then I went back home after the gym and I ate more. And then I had the last call of the day at 7 p.m. Checked up on the guys again. It was all good. And then I just basically unwinded for bed. I hopped in the hot shower. I have a hot shower after the gym because I don't want to interfere with any of the hypertrophy mechanisms. Like if you expose your skin and your body to cold water, especially like when you shock yourself like that, when you step into the cold shower, it tends to decrease the likelihood that you make the most muscle. There's a lot of science backing that up. And so I have hot showers in the evening after I've gone to the gym, and then cold showers in the morning. That's kind of like my hybrid. And then I brushed my teeth and just unwinded for bed, and I went into my bed and I set on the red color filter on my phone so that the entire screen went red, so that I didn't get a bunch of like blue light from the phone that would mess with my sleep. And then I journaled on my phone about what I would do I journaled on my phone what I'd done through that day and sort of gave myself a score. Had I been productive? What things can I improve on, and so on. And sort of just write down how I feel and what things I'm struggling with, and what I'm hoping to have happen in the future, what I'm looking forward to, and so on. And because I just thought to myself that if I could go back like 5-10 years and see like a daily diary of myself from like when I was young, that would be really fucking cool, bro. That I could just like tap into that memory, because we lose a lot of memories just as we go by. You know, we don't remember that much. At least not I do. I don't think a lot of people do. Like when you think of 2021, what did you actually do during 2021? You probably can't even remember that much. Maybe you have a few moments, like a few glimpses, like a few mental pictures, but like in general, all the crispy details are going to be gone. And so that's why I really like just journaling about my day, like that on my phone specifically, to be able like to have it easily accessible in the future. And then also these videos where I go through my day and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really like this stuff. And then after that, I read a chapter of a book series that I read since 5th grade. It's called Warriors by Aaron Hunter. And it's a fiction book series. And I love to just sort of delve into the world, like that world in my mind, you know, my mental movies, and kind of lose myself in there. And it really helps me fall asleep. And yeah, I just love the book series, man. It's amazing. And it just, I don't, you know, I don't want to be overstimulating myself before I go to bed that much. I don't want to be in like a hyperactive state. I want to be doing something calming and relaxing so that I can easily fall asleep, you know? And yeah, that's basically what I do, man. And then I went to bed, I think about 8:30, like 8:25 I went to bed last Saturday, which is a bit later than my set bedtime. But yeah, we're working on it. It's all good. And so for Sunday and Monday, I basically just did the same things, but I did not record in the morning because I woke up quite late. You know, I think I just slept in on fucking Sunday. Was really bad. And then I think yeah, on Monday I'm pretty sure I went to bed quite late on Sunday, which was not good at all. And so I just slept in on Monday as well. It was really bad. Of course, we're gonna be more consistent with these uploads, believe me. But yeah, man, I basically just did the same thing. Like woke up, I went to school on Monday, obviously. Did the stuff there. I don't really, you know, like school, so I try to just do the sort of 80-20 school work that I have to do, like the minimum effective volume. And then I can just do what I want, basically. I can maybe listen to some podcasts in school and stuff, some Andrew Huberman podcasts. That's what I've been doing lately. And yeah, man. What did I do else? Yeah, I just went home, ate, went to the gym, ate more, hopped on the calls with the guys. It's all good. Yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be it, bro. That'd be it. And yeah, today I'll be doing some driving with my dad. I'll go home and we'll do some warm up. We'll do maybe 2 hours of driving before I have my test. And yeah, it'll be all good. Wish me luck, bro. And by the way, if you're still here, I can tell that you're more committed than most people on this journey. And I would highly recommend that you join the community below so that we can have a chat and see if you want my free help with NoFap accountability. Because as I said, accountability was the thing that really moved the needle for me in terms of NoFap. And yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to seeing you in there.